Hello again, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of Journey Through Sports and Life. Marnie and Marjorie and Scott. And we're delighted today to be joined by, yet another female. Now I'm really outnumbered, not 2-1. Now it's 3-1. Holy cow. But she's a good one. Her name is Misty McMichael, and she is the wife of Steve McMichael. You recall number 76, played for the Chicago Bears, member of Super Bowl 20, played at UT, that's right, the University of Texas down in Austin, was a member of the College Football Hall of Fame, and then recently inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame after an incredible Pro Bowl, All-Pro career with the Chicago Bears. And we're really excited about everything that's, my phone's going off, folks. Sorry about that. So, but I'm just really excited. I'll tell you what, Marnie, I'm going to turn it over to you because you're the one that has this connection with Misty, and we'll take it from there.
Yes. Well, thank you, Scott. So, although Misty and I, the beauty of social media is that while Misty and I did not physically connect at the Hall of Fame this year when her husband was getting enshrined, I could tell that she was a woman that I wanted to know. And she graciously accepted my social media invite, and I was able to connect with her because I really love her story, her personal story. She's an incredible wife, an incredible advocate for her husband. It's so beautiful. And her husband's teammates and her daughter and her family. And she's just one of those people that I wish I lived closer to so that I could actually get to spend some time with in person. So this will have to do for today. And I'm so grateful that we can share her and share her story with our viewers. And so without, talking anymore, Misty, just take it away.
Well, hi there. It's Misty McMichael. Steve and I have been married since 2001, but the question I get asked the most is how we met. So we met in Austin, Texas, in March 24th, 1998. It was a Sunday, and it was a bar called Pearl's Oyster Bar, and it was about midnight. And 6'2", beautiful, long black hair down to his butt, Ray-Bans, cowboy boots, walks in, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, but I was too tired that night to get up. So I'm at a table with a couple of friends of mine, and the chair in front of me is open. So he walks around and just sits in the chair in front of me, and he says, I don't know what you think, but you can't have me. And I said, who said I wanted you? And that was it. That was it. We're together ever since. And it's been a wonderful ride. Like, he asked me where I thought the most romantic city in the world was. And I said, I think Venice, Italy, the gondolas and the Grand Canal and all that. He goes, not Paris, France. And I said, no, that's what everybody goes. Like, I'm just thinking Venice. So he takes me to Spain, France, and Italy. And we get to Venice. And when you first get there, you're on a big gondola, and there's a bunch of people in the palazzo, and it's kind of crowded and very crowded. So we get there and it's all crowded. And he says, is this romantic? I said, no, this is like Roman orgy. This is not my jam. So then that night, he gets a private gondola with just him and I on the Grand Canal, and it's sunset, and there's Rudolph Valentino's palazzo, and it's amazing, moonlight and everything. He says, is this romantic enough for you? I said, oh my God, yes, this is perfect. And he proposed in the gondola on one knee.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It was amazing. And we met in March 24th, 1998. We got engaged March 24th, 2000. We got married on March 24th, 2001. So because he knows I'm bad with dates. So he just did it like that so I can remember. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's amazing. And then on our third wedding anniversary, we were here in Chicago, and he got diabetes real bad that they told me he was going to die. So originally we didn't want children because we were having such a great time just hanging out. But then when he got really sick and they said he was going to die, we renegotiated, decided to have our daughter, Macy, who is going to be 17 in January. And she's our only child, and she's amazing. And then we got our ALS diagnosis in 2020, I think it was, but he'd had it for a while before that. So we're fighting that now, and that's why ALS is a big deal that I want to support, forever now, because of what I've gone through, and I want to help others go through it. It's really hard, and I know that I've had more help than most would, so I would like to give back and help as many people as I can that are getting diagnosis, early and don't know what to do. And needs some advice or help, want to be there for them. And then later, I want to start a nonprofit foundation to financially help others too.
Oh,
That's
well,
fantastic. I'll tell you what, we want to talk about ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also called Lou
Oh,
Gehrig's disease, because the former Yankee Hall of Famer back in the late 30s found out that in 1939 that he had this disease called ALS and brought national attention to it, and then passed away in 1941. But he's a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame, and now Steve's a member of the Football Hall of Fame. And when you see this incredible legacy of somebody like a Lou Gehrig and somebody like Steve, it really, what you're going to do is outstanding. So good for you for putting something together on his behalf, and for all that have to deal with ALS. I had a chance to host the Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon for the Muscular Dystrophy Association for 27 years here in the North Texas area in Dallas-Fort Worth. And I learned at that time all about ALS because it was one of the 42 neuromuscular diseases. And it was without a doubt the most insidious of all. It really was, because I would meet 5 or 6 new gentlemen every year that were suddenly found themselves in a wheelchair. And then, and none of them are with us anymore. And it was just really special men, CEOs, and just, it was just, you never know when it's going to be a part of your life. So we really like to hear your story about that. But before we do that, I know both Marnie and Marjorie have questions about you and your relationship with Steve. And I'd like to just be started off and ask you, you talked about that bar in Austin over 2 decades ago. What was it that you said, this is the guy I want to spend the rest of my life with, this is the guy that I like? And when he said, nope, don't even think about it. How about you? What was it that you liked about him that allowed you to still be here in 1920 or in 2024?
Well, it had been, I had been married before to a real jerk, and like there was no other good guys out there. So I kind of said a prayer that night, and I was like, dear God, if you don't send me, the right guy, I might as well go lesbian. And then they walked through the door. So I saw him and I was like, okay, that must be him. And I mean, amazing, with his sunglasses and I didn't even know who he was. At that time, he was the United States heavyweight champion wrestler, but I didn't know that. So all I knew was that he was going through a divorce and his house was bare. I really thought it was another, really thought it was another bad choice, but
fixer upper.
yeah. And so I'd taken him home and told my dad, like, I love him. Like, he's probably a loser, because I didn't know anything about him. And actually I was stripping at the time. I was doing private parties. And so I told him, I said, because he was like off from wrestling, he had a broken arm, but I didn't know that. I just knew he had a broken arm and he was, getting divorced and da da da. So I said, come with me to my gig. And this is a funny story. Well, my first gig was like a retirement party. Everything went smooth. He was my bouncer, my bodyguard, whatever. And most bodyguards get paid. So when I tried to pay him, he's like, no, keep your money. And I thought, okay, well, his money's my money, whatever. So then the next thing, it was for these deaf guys. But I'm like, I'm not singing to them. Let's go ahead and do this. So we go to the deaf guys party, and he gets in another room, and all the guys run to him as they start making those noises and stuff. And I was like, what's going on? So I go in there and he's signing autographs. I'm like, what? I'm like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Steve McMichael. And I still didn't really get it, but I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm retired. I'm now retired, and it's time for you to sign autographs. So that's what happened. And it's been great.
So then you didn't know who he was? Did you even follow football, even though you didn't know who he was? Were you a football fan?
I had heard about Dub Bears on Saturday Night Live, but I didn't know he was a part of it. And I didn't know about I'd watched wrestling, but I didn't watch what he was doing at the time. I don't know I was busy working in Austin, so I hadn't really kept up with football or wrestling. Well, now I do, but because of him. So then I went on the wrestling road with him, and that was amazingly fun. And we had and actually they tried to get me and Steve to wrestle Stone Cold and Deborah but I was too emotional. I was too hot-headed. So it didn't work out. But it was fun times. Met all the wrestlers. They're all amazing. Hulk and Rick and great guys. Fun times.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And do you see any of the old 85 Bears?
Oh my God. That's our brotherhood of love family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we see them, they come here all the time. Just recently was his birthday on October 17th. And we had Jim Osborne, and we had Bruce Heron, and we had Gary Finsick came by for the Hall of Fame thing, Dan Hampton, pretty much Tommy Thayer, Mark Hilgenberg,
Mhm.
Matsui, pretty much all of them come here.
Oh, that's
Even
great. That's
even Owen
great.
Kreutz is a friend of ours.
Hmm.
Owen Kreutz, yeah, he's come by.
Well,
And
I met Steve first back in the 86 season during a preseason game. The Bears were just coming off their Super Bowl championship and they were playing the Cowboys in London.
Yep.
And I was a Cowboys beat writer, so I was there to
I was
cover the
there too. I
game.
remember
Yeah,
that.
and Scott, you were there too.
Yep.
That's right.
Wembley
And
Stadium.
yes, yes, Wembley Stadium. And yeah, that was a great team. They annihilated the Cowboys in that preseason game. Yeah.
well, he always had a hard on for the Cowboys because they didn't draft him out of UT, and it was a Texas team.
Oh. Mhm.
He had to go to New England, and we were just kind of pissed off at the Cowboys after that. So that's why he was happy to kick their butt.
Yeah. Well, they all look pretty happy for, I guess, a number of reasons.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's the 85 team is the best team that ever played the game, and the NFL admitted that. And it's the truth. There'll never be another team like that.
It
Every
was incredible.
lineman, every defensive line, even the coaches were famous. I mean, Mike Ditka, he's a movie star,
Yeah.
Rudd Ryan. Oh my God.
Well,
Yeah.
that was the year of Jim McMahon and the
Right.
fridge. Remember the fridge?
The fridge and then Walter Payton. I mean, it was
Walter
incredible,
Payton,
that team.
right. Exactly right.
Was a
Yeah,
big
the 85 Bears were wow.
big
Mhm.
Samurai, Mike Singletary.
Mhm.
Well, that's right, Mike Singletary. That's right.
Yeah, Singletary. We've got there's more Bears in the Hall of Fame than any other team.
Well, and they're probably all from that team. Well, no, Dick Butkus, they've had a lot. But so what was your life like then when you said that you were maybe thinking about not having children because you were just really enjoying life. So you were probably just really having a wonderful experience, the two of you getting to share life together and all. What was it like? And then when the diagnosis came, how has everything changed?
Well, we had a great life. We had a wonderful life, and we still do. I mean, he's still with us. Just he's tough. Most people wouldn't have survived this long. They give you like 5 to 7 years. I remember when they gave us. Well, at first, how I first noticed something was wrong was his he's ambidextrous, but his right hand started like cavemaning to eat.
Oh,
And I thought,
mhm.
well, maybe he just wants to eat like a caveman. After 20 years of marriage, you just you don't want to pick fights. So you're like, oh, I'll let that go. So then,
Mhm.
and I noticed his other hand, he started eating with the same type of caveman thing. So I
Mhm.
said, what's going on? I noticed your arms and hands are clenching up. He said, oh, I think it's my neck, from football, I think. It's a neck injury. So we decided to go to Mayo Clinic because they're the best in the world. But I figured when we decided on Mayo that it could be something else because it's a neurological clinic. So we go there and it's about 15 grand. They do all the tests and everything. And 15 grand later, they say, you have ALS. And we're like, oh my God, what is that? Lou Gehrig's disease, never heard of it. So another day of testing, same thing. So you know what? Let's go to Rush in Chicago.
Mhm.
We go to Rush in Chicago. And our daughter was in the room this time. And the guy says, yes, you have ALS and you have 2 to 5 years to live. And my daughter goes, you don't know what you're talking about. We're out of here. So we left there and we went to Northwestern, which is supposed to be one of the ALS top hospitals in the world. So we go there and they say we have ALS. So I said, you know what? I think we have ALS. So I knew I had to do research just like I did when he got diabetes. When he got diabetes and they were going to make me give him insulin shots, I can't stand needles. So I wasn't going to do that. So I learned how to test his blood and feed him things and see what exactly made sugar for him and what didn't. And I got him off of everything that made sugar for him. And he didn't need insulin. He had no more diabetes. So when we got ALS, I thought, let me see what I can do here. And you're right, Scott, when you said it's the worst, because there's nothing you can do to stop it, but you can prolong it. There's things you can do, the best care, keeping them at home, giving them round the clock nurses and just, all the love that you can have in the house. And that's the best you can do is prolong it because it's fatal. And that's what sucks about it is I can't save him, but I can keep him here as long as possible. He wants to live, I asked him, I said, are you suffering? It's, what can I do? And he says, I want to live. So we're doing all we can to keep it that way, as long as we can.
And is your daughter still home? You said she's 17, so she's in high school, not college, or what?
She's a junior in high school, and she does online learning from Acellus Academy. So she does it here at home. So she can just do it at her own pace. And she's, A's and B's, so I'm happy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And she's adorable. I didn't physically meet her, but I got to see her with Misty. They have a beautiful relationship. It's really, I'm an only child and my mom and I, so I really related to your dynamic with your daughter because it's very unique and very special when it's just a mother and a daughter, out there doing their thing. And I know you're very protective of her in the most beautiful way, but also want to encourage her to go out there and be proud and represent your family and do all these things. And it was so touching to see the two of you in Canton over the summer be, so proud of your accomplishments as a family. And it really resonated. I get emotional when I think about the two of you because it reminds me of me and my mom. And I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a girl, but my daughter and I are also very close. And so I think just that one mother-daughter thing is really special.
It was great to have her on stage when they gave us the gold jacket.
Oh, I
that
bet.
was really special. They've done it. They've let me include her, and I'm appreciative of that. Even the Bears, when they did the presentation for the Hall of Fame at the home opener, they let her sit on stage with me. And when they presented me with my Hall of Fame pendant for me for a wife, first time. So that was cool that they let her be there with me, and because it's her dad.
Right.
Yeah.
So is she doing okay? You all are having to go, how hard is it to see her father and how helpful, it just sounds like you've got an incredible family.
I do. I have a great family. It's very hard though on both of us, but especially on her because she's so young. She's 16, gonna be 17. So she's trying to drive a car, get her license too on top of all of this. We got her a car out there, but she doesn't like to drive, but she's already done her courses and stuff. She just has to wait the period of time before she can go take her test. We need to get her driving some more around here to practice. But it's been hard on her. At first she wanted a psychologist, so I got her one. And that one she didn't like, and so I got an ALS specific psychologist. But, it didn't last long. She's so smart. A couple of times she's like, okay, I'm smarter than they are. I'm like, okay, fine. But but she seems to be great. Well, I'm watching her, keeping her, holding her up as best I can, and she's holding me up. So
speaking of family, and then I know Scott's got some questions too, but you mentioned your father. Did he know who Steve McMichael was when you guys first met? And was he familiar?
You know what? Now that you asked me that, I think the first time he didn't say anything, but I think after he met him the first time, he probably did some research. But then I knew, not too long after. So we figured it out, but I know not right away.
Google, wait a minute. Like, could you even Google people
this
back
was 1998. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was just starting. Maybe you had Alta Vista or some other kinds of sites to try to find out about people.
You know what? He just told me, and I was like, oh my God. And then I started remembering the 85 team, like the Dub Bears on the Saturday Night Live. And like
that's so funny to me that it was through Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's how I heard about it first. And then I was like, oh my God. And then I met all the players and they were amazing. All of them are so freaking cool. Like we've had great times with all of them. And they're just great. The whole team. And they're still a big family and I love it. Yeah, they're great guys, all of them.
Misty, you said that you're thinking of putting together a nonprofit or some philanthropic.
Yeah, it's called Mongo's Mission. I want to do it probably after he passes because I have so much going on. I want to, concentrate on him right now. And I've got so much other things going on that I'll wait till I have the full time to concentrate on it. And I'll get it started. Yeah.
So my question would be this. Having to endure this for not just a couple of weeks or whatever. I mean, this is going on for years. So I just wonder, number one, what it is that you've learned from it and how it has made you a stronger person, a more focused person, a more caring person. And then to someone that might be listening or viewing what we're sharing with them today, what would you say to them if they were going through ALS or some type of terminal cancer? What's the message that you would share? How they can stay strong and be there for their husband, for their wife, for their children, for a mom or a dad, just somebody that's part of their life, has been part of their life since they've been here. What is it that you try to just to keep yourself strong? Because I know so many people that have been in your situation, mental illness suddenly comes out of the woodwork and they just have all kinds of issues themselves that are actually worse than the person that we're talking about. So I just wondered what you've learned from it and, that type of thing.
Oh my God, it's just love. If you love somebody, you're going to be there for them. And he was there for me for, 20 years before he got sick. I can't be here for him for however long it takes. I mean, it's just about being there for each other. If you love each other, you're going to be there for each other. So it's not hard. I mean, it's hard it would be harder to me for him not to be here. I wouldn't want him in a nursing home. That would hurt me worse. So this is better for both of us, If you love somebody, you're going to do what it takes. And it is a lot, but then you realize that, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. So you start to realize it's badass bitch o'clock and you need to get to work. And it all works out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love that term that you just said, badass bitch o'clock. Let's go. I love it. I'm going to use that now. And so, Misty, where did you learn this empathetic, compassionate heart that you definitely have? Was this who you were from the beginning and picking up like, a bunch of losers along the way until you found Steve, or like where, I can relate, by the way, totally. But where did this come from? Your parents, your friends? Like, was it just always who you have been?
Well, I left my mother's house when I was 14 because I wasn't happy there. And then I left my father's house at 17 when I graduated high school, and I've been taking care of myself. So I've just always been this way, very strong and independent and just wanting to take care of others as much as I can, been doing it for a long time. Yeah. I don't like it. I mean, I'm a giver. There's givers and takers. I prefer who I am, and that's a giver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about your support group? Do you have friends that you can count on, or family members? What's that like?
I do have a great group of friends. They're so cool. There is a girlfriend of mine named Llama, a girlfriend of mine named Corey, who are other badass bitches. Some friends, Zach and Chris, and just different friends I have right now. They're really positive people, hanging out on the weekends and regrouping and, getting ready for the week. They're really making my life a lot happier, and just, you have to have positive people that give you life, not suck the life out of you. So I found a really good group, and we're helping each other through life because I'm not the only one going through things.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good that you have each other. Marnie, I'm sorry I cut you off. What was that?
No, I was just about to ask something similar, which is like when you're a giver, it's hard to be a receiver when you're a giver. So I was asking something similar, who gives to you, or what can you give to you? What do you do for yourself to, give yourself a little bit of comfort?
Oh, I just got back from the nail salon today. I pedicure, manicure is really, I love that. You have to do that when needed. And there's also this thing I found out. It's better than a massage. It's at my nail salon. And this little girl, she gives you a hair washing while she massages you. So that, because normally when you go get a massage, your hair's all greasy from everything. She gives you a full body massage. She does your hair, like totally massages your scalp, like cleans your scalp and then washes it. And it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, it sounds really relaxing.
I had about one.
Yeah, what's her number? Let me give you a call.
Yeah. I am so down with that. Yeah, and I wanted to spa, but I heard there's one. I think in Burr Ridge called, I don't know. I gotta look it up. Kohl's or something. Anyway, that can't be Kohl's. Anyway, there's some. I've never been to a spa. I'd rather just be alone in my spa. Mm-hmm. So the girl with the hair, she's the one.
All right.
So I have to, okay, go ahead, Marnie.
No, I was just going to ask about, I know, you had mentioned to me, we were talking that you have a ranch in Texas.
I do have a ranch in Texas. It's 16 acres. It was in my family for 150 years. My grandfather built the house, and the house is still there. And then me and Steve had put a house behind it. It's got a lot of his game balls there too. He's got some game balls here, but he has so many game balls. It's amazing. Let me see if I can see the game balls that he has in here.
So you still have the place in Texas?
Yes, I do. You know what? Now that you're
Oh.
saying that,
Oh,
I've
yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. That's a
got
lot.
a
That's,
boy.
That is a lot.
That's just half of them. The other ones are in Texas.
Uh-huh. Wow. All right.
hey,
Hi,
Steve,
Steve.
Hey,
Hi.
Steve.
we
Yeah.
love Misty.
Yes.
Hello, Steve.
Mhm.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here next to him. Yeah, there's it's, I hope I still have it. I actually told my dad and my little brother who are living on it that they needed to pay the property taxes on it for a change, and haven't heard from them. So I need to go check and see if I
I
need to
hope they
pay
have.
still up.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, Marjorie, go for
Well,
it.
no, all I was going to say is, a couple of both in 2021, I lost both my parents. And one of the things that I noticed is some people that I didn't expect really, really stepped up to be caring and very empathetic and everything like that. Have you found people that you just never really saw it coming from have been some of the most gracious and, most caring?
Well, it's kind of the opposite for me. Some of the ones I thought should have stepped up didn't, but then you see the ones that when you need them the most. Like I have a goddaughter, Katerina, who's 24. She's in the hospital right now with her 24th kidney operation.
Oh my gosh.
And I saw her yesterday. I went to the hospital to see her, and she said, you really know who your true friends are when they come see you in the hospital, when they are there for you when in the bad times. That's when you know. So it's a catch 22. You'll find out who's not there for you, and then you'll find out the ones that are there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. I think you need to know.
Well, that's definitely true. You do need to know. You don't want to spend time with the ones that aren't sincere.
Correct.
Let me ask you this, Misty, have you ever thought of creating an award on behalf of Steve?
That's a great idea because they do that. Walter Payton does that.
Well, I
So
tell you what, I've created a number of awards. I created the Everson Walls Award. Everson Walls is a football player that played at the same time that Steve did back in the 80s and what have you. And Ron Springs, who was a running back for the Cowboys, needed a kidney after both of them retired. And so I called Cubby and said, "Can I create an award? You've given one of your kidneys to your teammate Ron Springs. What would you think would you accept? I don't want to embarrass you, but I'm on the board of the Kidney Foundation, and I'd love to create an award in your name, and we could give it to a doctor that does kidney transplants or to somebody that has donated a kidney." Well, we just did it 2 weeks ago. I had this year's here in 2024, but he's done it since 2017. And it's
And
just
so then this would be connected with ALS?
yeah, but this would be on behalf of ALS. And I guarantee if you were to do something like that, with the connections that I have with MDA and ALS
He
nationally,
does have
I'd
them.
be happy to help you. And I'm sure the NFL would like that.
and the Bears, yes, and
Certainly the Chicago Bears would. And this would take his name and it would be a legacy of sorts that would continue on literally forever. So
I agree. I think that's a great idea. I think we're going to work together.
Yes,
I'd be happy to
that's a
help you
great
do that.
idea.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that's fantastic. I'm glad you thought of that, Scott, because Scott does a lot and he has the connections and he makes things happen. And I
From his
think this
lips
would
to
be
God's
wonderful.
ears. That's
I'm
great.
sorry?
From your lips to God's ears. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Scott is, is a celebrity, not just outside of he is a celebrity in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but he was the sports reporter for NBC Sports for over 30 years in Dallas-Fort Worth. So
Wow.
Scott is a legend, and as is Marjorie, her legacy is incredible too. But with the two of them advocating for a Steve McMichael legacy award, I can't wait to be at the dinner next year when we hand out that award to whoever is the lucky recipient of it. But I know Scott will be very helpful to make this happen for you
Oh, yeah,
guys.
definitely.
That would be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, they'll be happy to help you do that. Not a problem at all.
Great, great. I'm on it. We're on it. We'll get to work as possible on that.
Mhm.
And so, let's talk about that. You're not shy of doing work, of doing the work. So you've clearly, and neither is, your husband, you've been very disciplined since your young days. And how do you stay motivated? How do you stay disciplined during some days that are really rough with Steve or during something that is incredibly challenging? How do you get the grit to keep going?
Well, sometimes you have to get out of the house, go have a drink, or, take a drive, go to the mall. I got, I like to shop. I like to get out of the house every now and again. Go do sing some karaoke with your friends. Like just get out a minute and just re-energize. You know, you can't stay in a funk. As soon as you feel it, you gotta move. You gotta move. You gotta change where you're at, what you're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, you gotta keep it moving, baby.
Let me jump up. I just got a text and I go, what is this? So I looked at the text. It's the Veterans Day Parade saying, Scott, have you gotten it confirmed yet? That's crazy. Here we are talking about ALS. I'm on the board of the Veterans Day Parade every year and have emceed it for a number of years. And there's a fellow by the name of Al Burnett, and Al Burnett has one of the premier restaurants in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's been here 25 years. They're celebrating 25 years this year.
Yeah,
But for the 24 years after the Veterans Day Parade every year in Dallas, he allows all of the just the major dignitaries and what have you, but all the military that were involved in the parade, involved in the flyover and the jets and what have you, but generals and corporals and colonels and you name it, admirals, they all come to his place and he pays for everybody. And it's about a 2 or 3 hour lunch after the Veterans Day Parade. And I MC that every year. And he's a dear friend. Well, he found out about a year and a half ago that he has ALS.
No way.
Yes. And so it's become big news here in North Texas. Well, at the board meeting about 2 weeks ago, we were trying to think of what we could do. And somebody said, Scott, have you talked to Al lately? And I said, I haven't. I said, I talked to his nephew, who's now running the restaurant. And I asked him if I was to present the idea for an award for him, would he go for it? And he said, oh, Scott, Al would be so committed. He thinks the world of you. Well, what I presented yesterday at the board meeting is that I'd gotten the okay from the family that we could create. I said, let's create a Patriot Award. And every year we will give this award away to a patriot, somebody that supports our military, but has been there year after year after year. And so I asked if we could give this inaugural a Patriot Award to Al. And I just got from here, his nephew just texted me, he said, Al said, go for it. He's most moved and most honored. So we're going to do that at this year's Veterans Day Parade. And again, how ironic that we sit and talk here today. It's for ALS.
And you get the text.
And I get that text as we're talking here. That's crazy.
Wow.
It's the good Lord.
And just another reminder of how he gets things done.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when Marnie
Yeah,
says next year we'll be sitting at the dinner, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised one bit.
Yeah.
Right, the Patriot Award. So we need to think of a name, you know, the Mongo Award or whatever. I don't know. You know, the Mongo Awards, you know.
Yeah, the
Misty
Mongo.
McMichael. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I
And,
love it.
Yeah.
So-
We had a
Yeah.
drink at the Hall of Fame called the Mongo.
Oh, you did?
There was the Misty, the Mongo, and the Texas Rattlesnake.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. It's good stuff. The
Yeah.
Mongo was Crown and Coke, and
Uh-huh.
the Rattlesnake was Jack and Dr. Pepper, and then mine was Tito's and ginger ale with a splash of fruit punch.
Did you have input on that?
Yes, the Misty.
That's great.
That's great.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well,
Good stuff. Good stuff.
yeah. What would you like his legacy to be? When, you know, people talk about their legacy and how they want him to, how would you like him to be remembered?
Well, you know, he was one of the baddest football players that ever played the game. He was also a world championship wrestler. He was also won an Emmy for his TV show. He has many golf trophies. He was just good at everything he did. But on top of that, he was the most giving person I've ever known. He gave more money to charities than he ever brought home. I don't know anybody else that could say that. Like, he's just such a sweet guy, such a giver, and a, you know, smart guy. He would tell you things, life lessons and stuff, and try to keep you on the right track, the right path. And just his loving heart, I think, was what I fell for immediately. And then all this other stuff that he did was icing on the cake, you know. But it was just amazing how awesome he was at everything he did.
Well, there, you've just said it. There's the criteria for the Mongo Award, the award that we create. Really, I'm serious. There has to be a criteria, and then every year you give it to another person in Chicago or some other city. You know, if you make it a national award, do that. And I mean, my gosh, we talk about Lou Gehrig's disease. It's almost 100 years ago that Lou had, you know, had ALS. And now his name is still a part of it, and we can do the same thing here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very, very true. Yes, we will. We'll definitely leave him a legacy to be remembered because he deserves it. And I'm so happy that I got to help him get into the Hall of Fame, because he always told me, he said, they're going to put me in posthumously. I said, you know what? Not while I'm alive, because you deserve, I don't believe in that. I don't think they should do that. I think they should put people in while they're alive so they can enjoy it. Or
Right.
at least
Absolutely. Absolutely.
my mission. And that's why I got a podcast and interviewed all his teammates and, I had the fan mail sent to the Hall of Fame and wrote letters to the sports writers. I did everything I possibly could, and it worked.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Very
what was it-
dedicated.
What was it like for you receiving, the jacket, and what was the whole weekend like for you? How did that feel? Knowing that you would put so much effort into it.
It was so, so awesome. So let me tell you another kind of funny to me, but it's true. So the president, Jim Porter, he's amazing, but like I always figured that Steve wanted to go to the hall. So I did an ESPN interview and I requested like medical airplane or something because I didn't know how to get him there. So this company called me from ICU Jets and they're like, we want to donate our services. We're big fans. We wanted to get him there. So I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. So I called Jim Porter. I'm like, you know what? I've got the transportation taken care of and y'all got the room. Like I said, I can guarantee we can get him there, but I can't guarantee medically sustaining him there because it's so hard with everything he needs. I said, but it's football heaven, not a better place to go, right? This man had a heart attack. Literally. He literally had a heart attack. And then he told me, Misty, like, it's too much. Like, he doesn't want, like, they're very secret society. Like, there's like 250 million professional football players in the world, 378 in the hall. He's number 376, but only 182 alive. So they're very small and very secret. He didn't want all that attention. So I said, okay, fine. I didn't realize, we'll regroup. So that's when he decided he'd get a private plane and have me and Jimbo Covert and Mike Singletary and Richard Dent, all Hall of Famers, fly in, present him with his bust and his jacket. And I thought that was a great idea. So we had party in Canton, party here in the street, waiting on him to get that presented. And so Jim Porter's daughter, Emma, she's a budding stylist, clothing stylist. And I love clothes. So I had his daughter, Emma, design these really cool vests and pants for me and Misty to wear with Hall of Fame on the back and Steve's number 376. And so I could pub her, so in case Jim, I felt bad about giving Jim Porter stress. So now, Porter can maybe, start her business. So yeah,
That's right. See, you're always the giver, always thinking about other people while trying to get your dreams accomplished. And that's a really unique, and I mean, we've interviewed a lot of people in the sports world, and I would say that the common denominator of almost every single person that I've ever met in sports and that we've had on our show, they're all givers. That the athlete mind and the people that support them. And certainly I know my two co-hosts are definitely givers. I believe I am as well. And so it's so refreshing to see that is the one thing. And I always say that sports really are the universal language because it brings everybody together. There's nothing like it. Obviously, Steve was an athlete in the wrestling world and also in football too, but it really is so special when you hear about, this, it really is the common theme of people that love sports. We're all givers.
Yeah, sports, and I also found that in people who love horses.
Oh yeah, I'm a horse person too.
Oh yeah, I am too.
Yeah, they're good people. Yeah.
If you are equestrian, yeah.
Did you ever talk about the difference between football and wrestling? One a team sport and then one more individual.
Actually, it's a team thing in wrestling as well because those matches are choreographed, but you have to work together to make them look good.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
So,
yeah, that's true.
If you're selfish, it's not going to work. You
Mhm.
sell the other man's punches. You have to work with each other to make it look good. Or
Mhm.
if you're just out there for yourself, like Tyreek Stevenson was at the Bears game, you're not going to win.
Mhm. Oh
So,
yeah, that
which
was a
one-
disaster.
Oh, and for that game, I was a Washington fan because the Bears. Oh my Lord! But yeah, Tyreek playing his own game and messed it up for the rest of them. So you have to be.
Yeah, he's never gonna forget that. Mhm.
Oh well, I wish you would sit on the bench and think about it. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
What do you think? Do you think Steve liked wrestling or football more?
Oh, okay. So when he went to college, he had the opportunity to go professional baseball or professional.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a catcher and he was good at baseball too. So he chose football. That was his first love. He could have chose anything. Football's his first love. We're from Texas, he grew up on it as a child. That's our thing there. And he loved football first, but wrestling was amazing too. He goes, we're gonna do this until it's not funny anymore. So he had a great time with it. I was the champion. He did the Four Horsemen with Ric Flair. I mean, he made history with the wrestling, with WCW and WWF and all that. And he's just great at everything he does. And he had Pepe with him, his first Chihuahua, when he was commentating, and he would dress Pepe up in all these costumes. I thought to myself, my God, he would be a great dad if he dresses his little doggy up and carries it around,
No kidding.
Eventually, yeah.
Is your daughter athletic?
She is very athletic, but she's also very competitive. So
Mhm.
I like to play games, and I like to win, but also I just would rather play. So
Mhm.
I would play games with Steve, like card games or whatever, or any kind of game, mind you. If I won, he would get pissed. So it was so funny. I was just talking to his friend Dave Seiden, who was he was one of our best men in our wedding. We were at Dave's house one time, and Steve and Dave always had competition with golf, and I can't really drive, but I could putt good. So I guess I was beating their putts that day or something on the golf course. And when we got to Dave's house, they had invented this game called pool golf, where they had these 2x4s. So it was kind of like golf, but kind of like pool. And I'm like, okay, so for somehow it ended up them being against me. And it's the last shot, and I'm about to sink the last winning shot. And my husband bumps up against the light switches and turns it pitch black, and I make the shot anyway. So I said, you guys try. I could beat you at your own game.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's just like her dad. We used to play video games like Mario Kart and stuff, and if I start winning, she is completely pissed off and will not play with me. So I can't play games with them anymore.
Oh, that's
So a
funny.
bit competitive.
Mhm.
They're both very competitive. Yes. Yeah, and I guess I like to win and all, but I don't mind just playing,
Right. Mhm.
They want to win, and if they're not winning, they're not playing.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was
They're
quite a
like,
golfer too, right?
Steve's an amazing golfer. He's got many golf trophies. Let me see if I can find him.
Mhm.
I'm gonna eat a chip. Mm. Mm.
Wow. How nice to be able to just pretty much pick up any sport and be good at it.
Right? He's really good at where's all these trophies at? Oh, what is that? That's the MDA award. You were saying about the MDA. You know what? He had his golf trophies in here. I don't know what happened to them.
Maybe they're in
Michelle,
Texas. Maybe they're in the.
remember what happened to his golf trophies?
Uh-oh.
Huh? His golf trophies? I thought they were in the cabinet. No? He had some golf ones.
So I see that you have some crosses on the wall. What is
Oh
Faith
yeah.
played?
Here's his
What,
Emmy.
what role has Faith played in?
There's-
Oh, okay. There's
There's a
some.
golf one in there.
Yeah,
And
there
there's
you go.
the Emmy.
Yeah, yeah.
Another
Very
golf
cool.
one. And then the Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah, yeah.
Won
Very
the
nice.
Emmy.
But,
Yeah.
but what role has Faith played in this whole
Oh.
journey?
Huge. The power of prayer is everything. And what you say, you manifest. So you have to watch what you say, because you're really praying with your words.
Mhm.
So yeah, you have to just say what you want and mean it and believe it. Just pray hard about
Yeah.
specifically what you want.
Mhm.
Who won the Emmy?
What's that?
Who won the Emmy?
That was Steve's. He won an Emmy for his TV show that he had back with his first wife, Deborah. They had a show after the games in '85. It was with Mark Giangreco. It was really
yeah, sure.
had the
Right.
Chihuahua.
Mhm.
So he
Right.
won an Emmy for that.
So a
That's
Super
fantastic.
Bowl trophy there, an Emmy award, golf trophies, wrestling. I mean, wow.
Let me show you the wrestling belt, the World Championship wrestling belt.
Mhm. Oh yeah, the belt too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
behind me. There he is.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Russ-
very nice.
And there's the
Wow.
Yeah,
So
So-
is that really heavy? I've never held one of those belts.
yeah, they're heavy, but they're not that heavy. You
Not
can
that heavy. They look like they'd weigh a ton, but
the buckle part does, yeah.
yeah.
But they're fun to wear.
Yeah, I would think so. Hmm.
we've got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left. Any closing thoughts you'd like to share with the audience?
I just appreciate all the fans that we've had. Chicago is the best city in the world for sports fans. I really have loved making this our second home and permanent home. We're gonna stay here, and we appreciate all the love from everybody. And thank you guys for having me on again.
Do you have a website or something if people would like to make a donation, maybe in your name on behalf of ALS or something like that?
You know what? They can just send it to Steve McMichael, and our address, and I don't mind saying it because it's all over the place. 14954 South Carlton Lane in Homer Glen, Illinois, 60491.
All right.
Well, I tell you
Thank
what.
you for sharing that. Yes.
Yes, for sure. And if you put together your whatever awards you put together, a mango.
Oh, yeah. You and I.
What-
Marnie can give you my number, and you and I need to work on the award.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
All
want to
three
help
of-
too, so I want to be
all
involved.
three
I
of
do
us.
too.
I'll do a group
Yeah.
together.
Okay.
That's what I mean. That's what I was saying. And all three of us would love to jump on board, and that's why they call us the tremendous trifecta. It's the three of us. Yeah.
Great name.
Yes,
Or the tragic trio, one of the two. I don't-
No. That's
tremendous.
funny.
But that is, again, another thing, like, people that are in sports are always the first ones to be like, I'll do it, I'll help out,
Mhm.
let's figure it out. How do we get it done? What do we need to do to get it done? And then it actually happens. So I know
Right.
with Scott and Marjorie and
Yeah.
myself a little bit, and definitely you, Misty, we're gonna find ways to make a difference. And that's what's so fun about, making new friends and meeting people and watching them celebrate the people that they love.
And we really want to help you in any way we can to make an award on behalf of Steve, Misty. So please follow up on that with us.
I sure will. I'll be here whenever you need me, and I'm ready to go.
All
Well,
right.
thank you for joining us. This has been a great
Guys.
conversation.
For sure.
Guys.
You've been great. So our thanks to Misty McMichael, and please let Steve know he's in our thoughts and prayers every single second of the day.
I sure will.
All right. Let's put an end to ALS and just
Yes.
eradicate this insidious disease, folks.
Oh.
For Misty McMichael and of course my two favorites on the left, folks, we're talking about Marnie. Are you there?
Here,
There she
I've
is.
got
Marjorie.
my other co-host, one of my dogs, yes.
All right. Boy, I tell you, we used to have the M&M twins. Now we've got the M&M's twins.
Yeah,
Misty
exactly.
and Marnie and Marjorie. We got three of them today.
That's right.
And I'm Marnie, right? I'll use my last name. So until next time, for this edition of Journey Through Sports and Life, remember, live your life as a go-getter and share your life as a go-giver. All right.
All right. And we're